Hey followers, this is your boy, Movie Maker Doug 55. Today, Andy McPhee and I have two guests with us. One of them is Bradley Sewart. And am I correct, Bradley, when I say that you've dealt with cerebral palsy?
Yes.
Okay, that's really impressive that you've developed a great life for yourself and with your other supporter and our other guest, Anby.
Yeah,
Yes.
welcome, guys. Thanks, Doug, for introducing our amazing guests. And look, I think the easiest way to do this is just dive in. And Avi, if you could just give us a little bit of, like, Brad, quite well, of your bit of a share about what you've seen Brad achieve in his life dealing with cerebral palsy, and what you're standing for and helping him achieve as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I met Bradley less than 2 years ago, and basically Bradley contacted me through one of my Facebook advertising posts for personal training, and we met up that day. We discussed, and Bradley explained that he had cerebral palsy from birth, so that's something he's been going through for his whole life. And so from there, what we did was we sat down, we worked out a plan and how I could help Bradley and how I can change certain things, techniques and training to suit Bradley. So we came up with a little plan and we began to work together. And ever since, we've still been working together, and Bradley's accomplished a lot of great things. He's lost a tremendous amount of body fat. He's put on a lot of lean muscle, following obviously my diet and training techniques that I've provided him. And he's also done 2 bodybuilding shows last year.
Wow.
So, and that was fantastic. I think that was the most leanest he's ever looked.
And I got 2 medals.
Wow.
2 medals, 2 medals. So
wow, that's amazing. Like, that's so cool. Like, I mean, and when I say it's amazing, it's not like I'm saying you couldn't do it. I think it's amazing because we don't know what it's like to deal with cerebral palsy. I've seen people who are dealing with it, and I get motor skills must be difficult. Is that right? At times, like just sort of balance and, like especially lifting weights and walking. Is that something that he has to deal with?
Yes. So, like, for example, it's more so with his leg function. So that makes it a bit harder for him to balance and so forth.
Right.
But with time, as we got to know Brad and as I got to learn Brad's body and what he can and can't do, so we were basically doing a lot more machine exercises, which helped with his stability on the machine. So not as much free weight, but it was more the machines that we did. And that really helped Brad to not only use confidence using the machines and exercising, but more so developing all the muscles and the strength that with time gave him that ability to, further and progress like an athlete.
That's amazing, man. It's so good. Like, and look, Abby, you this is part of the mission of this program that, we've created with Doug and myself, the Relentless and Unstoppable series, is you can take the horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? And so it's up to that person, whether it's Brad or myself or Doug or anyone. You got to be willing to step into that and step into some pretty, heavy things that are going to come up against you, constraints and reasons and excuses and all that. But to step past that, that empowers you as well, correct?
That's right, it does. And like this mental strength I've seen from Bradley compared to others, it's just amazing. Like, whether he liked it or not, he followed through the diet. He stick to it. He done his training sessions regardless, just relentless, to get to his goal. And that was really inspiring. He inspired about probably mostly the whole gym.
Wow.
Because as I saw him coming in the first week, then he came the second week and third week, and there were some people asking how can we help? And I said, just acknowledge Brad, ask him how his training's going,
Yeah.
And it created a warm environment for Brad too.
Yeah.
And he felt very comfortable, and that gave him more confidence that, you know, I belong here and I'm going to be my best. And that's what it's all about. And I'm really happy that I took on Brad, because
that's amazing. And look, I'll switch to Doug in a minute, but what you just said is the little quote that Doug and myself have for Doug is, and I wrote it in a post the other day. Yeah, Doug has autism, but Doug is not autism. Doug is Doug Kenny. That's who he is, right? He is not autism. That's just something that he's dealing with. And Brad, cerebral palsy. Brad's not cerebral palsy. Brad is Brad. Brad is someone who's dealing with something that we, we don't understand. Like we had a guest on this morning who's deaf. Now I said, are we allowed to call you deaf? Because in Australia they have sometimes some different political ways of speech. And no, it's deaf. He's deaf. He comes from 8 generations of deaf people in the family. I went, holy cow! You what? What he said? 8 generations, didn't he?
I think he said 6 or 7.
Oh, sorry, 6 generations, right? I said, so I'm really ignorant. Were you born with that? It's like followed through. He goes, yeah, hereditary. I went, wow, I never knew that. Had no idea. So everybody in his family is deaf. I couldn't even imagine being in that world. You know?
Yeah, neither can I. And just to follow up what you said about relentless and unstoppable, my sugar addiction, which mostly came down to an addiction to soda like Coke and Pepsi, you know, it was lifelong. Like I had the addiction since I was like 5 years old. And when I came to LA in 2013 on a family vacation where I met Andy for the first time, back when he was coaching with my brother, my mom had told Andy about, you know, my sugar addiction. And Andy was looking at me. And even though I was smaller back then, I was still overweight for my age. And he literally told me, he was like, you really got to quit that sugar addiction because it's going to give you heart disease in the future. And it took some time, but I went through a rough spot in my high school education, and my sugar addiction got worse because of the rough spot that I went through. And then this year, after a couple times of trying to quit and failing, I finally gave it up after my addiction got to the point where I had 2 liters of soda per day, and then had restless nights. And then I was like, okay, I'm done.
And you know what? That's a great strength for Doug to do that. And I'm not a physical fitness trainer. I have good knowledge of, you know, fitness. So we always check in with his mum to make sure that, you know, it's okay for him to change his dietary habits and just get rid of all the fried foods and no sodas. And it's made a huge change. But I know now, especially with the inspiration from Brad and what you just shared, Abby, is that there's no reason in the world Doug cannot go compete in a bodybuilding competition in 12 months. No, nothing at all. He could absolutely do that. You know?
That's right. That's right. There's no law, there's no statement, there's nothing. It's up to you entirely. And once you decide to go that road to compete or something like that, you just got to put your head down and just follow through the process. You know, and it makes you spiritually and mentally makes you stronger as well. That journey.
Yeah,
and that's what I noticed too after his competition. I go, you know, how do you find that experience? And he goes, it felt amazing. It felt amazing to be not only acknowledged for his results, but as in he felt good. He felt light. You know, he felt more healthier.
Oh, for sure.
So there's a lot of benefits.
That's amazing. Hey, Brad, can you just share a little bit with us what it was like for you, you know, like as you started getting into older years around, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10, teenage years, what was it like for you dealing with life with cerebral palsy? You know, people's thoughts about you, their views, their, you know, whatever came up against them when they met you. What was that like for you?
Sometimes a nightmare and sometimes a good experience.
Did you do schooling, like regular schooling or homeschooling?
Specialist schooling.
Okay, yeah. And can I ask you this question? Doug dealt with it, you know, dealing with autism when he realised that, you know, something what he felt was different for him at school, and he had a lot of issues being at school. He had to homeschool, then he'd go back to school, and then bullying and depression and anxiety. Did you deal with any of that, Bradley? Like anything like that, anxiety, being bullied at any stage in your life?
The bullying, I did.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you deal with that, Bradley?
Pretty, no, not very good. I just learned to deal with it.
Yeah, right. And what's your view on that now, being where you are now, spiritually stronger, mentally stronger, physically stronger? You know, what sort of advice can you give to anybody who's being bullied, wherever it be, a workplace or school or friends? What sort of advice can you give them that you know helped you deal with that?
Let's talk to friends and family. And that'll help them, try and help them through.
Yeah.
Very impressive, dude. That's really impressive that you were able to deal with it. Looks like you were able to manage it a little bit better than maybe I would have, because, you know, I went through a lot of bullying, and there were cases where I didn't manage it well. I was at a breaking point, you know. That's really admirable of you, man.
But Doug, I got to say, you're sitting here now, mate. Right? You're sitting here now, and that bullying, if it had affected you and you didn't deal with it as well as you thought you would, if you wouldn't be sitting here being this great inspiration for everybody, as same as Bradley is, you know?
Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely right about that. And it, you know, I just want to say for the record that some of the people at my school that I considered to be my bullies, some of them have actually grown up over the years to being great people. In fact, some of them I'm connected with on Snapchat and Facebook. So time does heal most wounds, you know?
Well, and also with bullying too, you know, we don't know why people bully. Some have issues they're dealing with. Well, we don't know, but we're hoping to have a series a bit later with Jerry Trimble, who was on our earlier series. Jerry is an actor. I met him about 12 years ago. He was an international world champion twice in kickboxing in the 90s. He's an advocate for anti-bullying. He speaks at schools. He does online mentoring. And his story of bullying was, you know, how he led to be a martial artist. He said, I was relentlessly bullied for years and years and years at school. And he said, I just took up martial arts to get it out of my head. And the minute he got to a great level in martial arts, and it's not about beating people up so you don't get bullied. But it was in this particular instance that the bully got him in a locker room, and I think he slammed him into the locker, and Jerry just turned around. He didn't hurt him, but he just turned around, put him on his butt really quickly. And this guy's like, whoa, holy cow, what happened then? And he said it just changed everything. It just took that moment to say, look, I'm not wanting to hurt you, but I've had enough of you hurting me, you know, and I'm not advocating violence towards people, but sometimes you have to defend yourself. And so talking about that, Brad, has there been times in your life where, you know, you've struggled to be with, you know, what you were dealt with in life with cerebral palsy like this? Has there been moments where you're quite low? Because you're at an amazing spot now, man, like bodybuilding competition. You ride motorbikes as well, right?
That was just my stepfather's motorbike.
Oh, right.
But he's ridden a four-wheeler. You can ride a four-wheeler.
Cool, man.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, I saw your YouTube where you were on the motorcycle. That's very impressive, man. And hopefully I can get a motorcycle and do that soon. But...
Oh, what? No, me on the road with a motorbike? Oh, man.
I said that to get under your skin.
Oh, thank goodness we live in different states, Doug.
You support me being in a motorcycling club?
Probably that's not it. No.
Okay.
No, you do whatever you need to.
So can I ask Bradley a question very quick?
Go for it, mate. Ask all the questions you want.
What are your plans for the future, Brad, as far as your bodybuilding and just what you want to achieve in your life?
Probably just grab my channel and audience.
What he
Can you just repeat what he said, Abby, because it was a bit hard to hear.
That's right. He just wants to grow his YouTube channel and his audience, and inspire others too. That you know, if Bradley, with his condition, can achieve so much great things, then there's nothing there to stop you from going to achieve anything in life.
Yeah, exactly. That's great, Brad.
My timeline.
Right. Look, I'll tell you something. Doug and myself, once we start working on building Doug's channel even more. How many followers do you have now, Bradley, on your YouTube channel?
I'll just have a look.
How much you got, roughly, you think?
847.
He says 847 followers so far, roughly.
Okay, so what we're going to do, Doug has built his from, I think when I first met him, he had about 100. He has 4,000 on his YouTube channel, right? Doug is going to help you get more followers to your channel so people can follow and be inspired by you. Because I'm currently helping Doug now build up, more followers to inspire people and get people into action. So we're going to help you do that as well, Brad.
That sounds awesome.
I'll definitely share your YouTube channel on my social media timelines, and when I do subscriptions with people in groups that I'm a part of, I'll share your channel with them to get you more subscribers.
Thanks.
Yeah, because your story's great, Brad, the same as everybody else on there, and it's more inspiring when you've had some cards dealt to you that other people haven't had dealt, and like Abby said, you inspired everybody in that gym. And how could you not? How could you not inspire people, like coming in and not quitting and training? And, some of us, we take for granted our well-being, we sometimes forget. And you can never take life for granted. And I think COVID's pretty much proved that.
Yeah.
But look, that's great, Brad. And look, I really thank you for coming on. And we'd love to get some photos, if possible, of you in your bodybuilding competition so that we can share them on the channel to get people to go and follow your channel as well,
Yeah, of course. Guys, I'm just going to show you this. This is what I was given at Bradley's first bodybuilding show.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
So I was given that, and that was a really special moment because, this is by ICN as well. So this is a natural bodybuilding series in Australia and around the world.
That's
so this
awesome.
is something that Douglas can look into as well. But they awarded me that for Bradley's accomplishment.
Wow.
And, it was that really meant a lot to me as well, and to Brad.
Yeah. You know what? The great part is, Abby, people like yourself and others who are standing for other people, it's just such an amazing feeling when you see that person you first meet, whoever they are, whatever they're dealing with, climb over that hurdle and they keep going, and all of a sudden they start achieving great things. It's just an incredible feeling to watch people transform,
Yeah, that's right.
I just want to say, Brad, you're a very bright young man, and I really believe in your potential. You do whatever you want to do in life because I believe in you.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's great. Look, Abby, I'd really love to have another conversation with you two guys down the track to see where Brad's at, what he's achieved in, say 3 or 4 months' time, where he's at. And hopefully Doug will be on his journey to be on a platform somewhere, sharing this guy who was 300 pounds, dealing with the facts of having autism and feeling not fitting into society, to like, hey, I'm in society and I fit, and I'm going to show you where I fit, like take a stand for himself,
For sure. And you should check out my Facebook profile photo. In the photo, I'm dressed in my racing outfit. I'm holding the camera like this, and I have a look like this.
Yeah, Doug hasn't got an ego at all. That's one good thing that we've taken away. Like,
yeah, and that wasn't even though the look looks like I'm gloating or that I'm pompous or something, the actual intent of the photo was to convey that I'm Doug and autism will not stop me from achieving things.
yeah, awesome, man. Love it. That's great. And look, we have sort of run out of time, but look, that was just really cool meeting you, Abby, and again, Brad, and just sharing your truly unstoppable journey of what you're up to, man, and living a full life and having great support around you. It's just awesome, you know.
Thank you, Andy. And
Great,
we're just waiting for all this COVID-19 to settle, the restrictions, so we can, go around and maybe possibly compete in the future as well.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about, like Brad, just going into ordinary schools and, like arranging just, little lectures, maybe half an hour lecture at an assembly hall or something, like just to a high school, primary school, just Brad sharing his story to school kids,
Yeah, absolutely. We've spoken about it before, but it's definitely something that most likely we could do in the future as well.
Oh, I think it would be so inspiring.
And probably an example for other children that may have a form of complexity in their lives.
Yeah.
To see, hey, I may be in this position, but I still can do things with my life. I can become a writer. I can become a reader. I can,
Oh, mate, anything, like I've seen some incredible transformation. Like Doug, for a start, he's just relentless in his journey to better himself and help other people. And, I've seen people that I've been working with. I coach, certainly, and I'm pretty sure you get this too, Abby. The coach doesn't make you do a thing. The coach is not a teacher. He's not teaching you anything. The coach is coaching the greatness that's already in you, but guiding you with, the correct ways to do things or offer things, and you work it out. The coach is he's replacing that inner voice that's going, you're not going to do it. You can't do it. Don't get out of bed early, the coach is that little inner voice in there, just standing right shoulder to shoulder with you and, coaching you through what you can do, but you might not be able to see it. And I've seen people quit acting and start learning guitar and singing. And next thing, one of my clients, I stopped coaching years ago, but he said, I took up playing the guitar and now I have an album, country and western album. I want to go to Nashville and try and promote it. And he said, I just got it because one day I heard your voice go, just do what you want to do. And he left a 6-figure-a-year job in Melbourne selling cars. His relationship fell apart. He went and started mowing lawns to earn money. His relationship healed because he wasn't stressed. And then 5 years later, 120 songs later and an album, man, he just got up and did it, took a risk. Yeah. I got another young lady who's going to send me a testimony soon because I want to share it with people that she was in an acting class. We just do poetry, writing, looking at art. She got after 2 months. She said, I'm quitting acting. She said, I didn't realize I could write poetry. She said, I had no idea I could do this. And now, 7 years later, she has 4 books on Amazon. They approached her and said, we've seen your blogs. We want your books. You know what? Anything is possible if you really want to, to do anything.
Like the song says, I throw my hands up in the air sometimes saying, ayo, gotta let go. I want to celebrate and live my life.
Now, one thing I am coaching Doug on, stick to what you're doing with your writing, because singing's probably not your career, Doug.
I know that singing's not my talent, but, everybody likes my voice, even if it's...
I'm kidding. You could end up being an amazing singer. But look, guys, thanks really heaps. And thanks for you two coming on. It was really great to meet both of you, Brad again and you, Abby. It's awesome, man, what you're doing,
Thank you so much. And thank you for having us as well.
Yeah.
It's
and Abby, send us your, if you can give it to Brad and Brad can email Doug or myself all your details, your website, everything you do, because we'll make sure we put all that up as well, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, cool, mate. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate both of you. Doug, over to you, mate.
All righty. I want to thank everyone for coming onto the channel. And everyone, whenever you have a chance, please check out my most successful book, From Green Flags to Blue Flags 2, The Amazing Comeback of an Autistic Spokesperson. And I will see you next time on Being Relentless and Unstoppable.
Hey, Brad, you need to write a book.
Mm.
See you guys.
Thank you so much, guys.